along a dead branch, but yeah, I think that's probably what it is. For a minute there, I thought it might be a stoloniferan because it looked like it was on a string or a line.
Yeah, well, you never do know.
Yeah. Stoloniferans are these, it's an octocoral, well, I'm not going to describe it if that's not what it is, so we'll skip the description.
Hey, Dave. All right. Pellet swap complete.
My lateral left before you approach.
I think we can pass that, Josh. I thought it might be a stoloniferan. I think it's just more of what we just imaged.
Okay, so you don't want to look at it?
Nah.
All right. Is there a reason hydraulics are up, Dave?
Yeah, we were adjusting lights.
Oh, okay.
And
Kind
Don's
of a nice
coming in, and I'll
wide
let
view
him
to show you how many colonies are on
tune him
this
up a little bit.
left face of this
This
promontory.
is an astonishing community.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to look at in particular, Chris?
Actually, right now, just the community, some wide shots. We've seen all of these corals. They're mostly coralliids. We've seen the branch sponge. We've seen the yellow zoanthids. I'm keeping my eye open for something different. But this view also gives us a chance to spot a fish that might be swimming by.
Roger that.
And we got Bruce Mundy back, Josh. Bruce is back with us.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. Hey, look at the edge of that sheet flow or something.
Wow. It's a nice
lava.
sharp edge. Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing some really different back of heads in front of me here. So I wonder if we could clarify whose heads we're looking at.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Carlson. I'm piloting D2 at the moment. And on Navigator, I'll let him introduce himself.
Sean Kennison, sitting Navigator.
Co-pilot.
Don Libertori on co-pilot.
On video.
This is Roland Bryan on video, off screen.
And clipping.
And on clipping, I'm Emily Narrow, and we are all from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
Chris, do it.
This is Chris Ma from the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History, and my biology colleague.
Is another Chris Kelly. I'm from the University of Hawaii at Manoa in Honolulu, and on my left
reason
is
our Delta Z was
Nicola
negative?
Rodriguez from the University of Hawaii
Delta
at
Z should be
Hilo.
negative.
So that's your
Negative, but I'd be
control
so
room
low,
team
rather.
for the
So
moment,
white.
folks.
We're on a cliff.
Possible
Okay,
white
so you're
starfish
stretched out
left
pretty
of
good.
lasers.
Okay, roger that. Copy.
If you tilt
So
up
that's
a little
a
bit.
big
Yep.
Crowleyan
Where's the
colony.
starfish?
That's
White.
where's the starfish? Somebody
Left
said
of
starfish.
Left of lasers.
I think there's this pentagonal shaped thing in the center, but I think it's just a base.
Are you talking about this down here?
Yes.
There's that white colony that looks
Come on
kind
in,
of
Snap.
like a radar dish. Just went off top right. It's white. It looks a little bit different from the others.
Something else.
Was it to the right, Scott? I didn't see it.
Yes, top right.
Top right. Yeah, pilot. You see that in the upper right corner?
Yeah, copy that.
Yeah, thank you. Good spot, Scott.
Yeah. There's this enormous
So, starfish off the top.
Paragorgia zoanthid battle going
Nav,
on.
are there any moves underway
I think
right
the
at the
zoanthids
moment?
are winning.
Dot
They
currently.
totally have won the
Okay.
colony over there on the right.
Copy that.
Wow. Is that a brassingid on the top, or
All
is
right,
that a...
come on in.
Huh.
Top of the screen. Okay, maybe after we get a look at this thing.
Sure, well, it's all good.
Okay.
We'll get to it eventually.
Alrighty.
What is this?
All right, Scott. I think I know what this is. You want to go for it?
Stand by. I'm not quite sure. Is this Kishinui or something?
I don't think so. I think it's actually a Paragorgia.
Yeah, white Paragorgia.
Yeah, that's my guess. We do have that white Paragorgia here in Hawaii, at least, that looks quite similar to this. So, I'm just punching it into the annotation log. I don't think we've ever gone further than that, or we did and then we retracted the ID. I think it exists in the Hawaii Undersea Research Laboratories Guide, if not the Okeanos Animal Guide.
Something on its base.
Yeah, so we do have the white Paragorgia that's in the Okeanos Guide. It's listed at Paragorgia SPA, question mark. We have imaged it from the Okeanos. So we're good for science as soon as video's done. And there may be a sea star, too, that's up on the rock above it a ways.
Two barnacles.
A barnacle?
Right. Come
Yeah,
on
a little
out.
barnacle, yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Come on out.
All right, pilots.
Oh, wow.
I'd like
Oh, that's
to
a crab.
do
Just say that
No, it's
southwest up this
something
ridge.
else here.
if you're comfortable with a 30-meter move. That's our goal currently.
I can't see the sonar right now. How are we looking?
Yeah, the sonar
Did
looks
I
like,
just hear you say
according
the
to
white
Sirius,
Paragorgia
we're
is
at least 30 meters out
Explore Animal Guide? I don't see it there.
from another
Yes,
structure.
it is, Scott. It's in the Paragorgid group, and it's Paragorgia species, I guess about halfway down or so.
Southwest,
Well, it's on my iPad. Sorry, it's about half.
Hey,
That should be okay, Sean.
Yeah? All right, I'll put
yeah,
it
you must
in.
have a newer
30
version.
meters,
Come on in, video.
250.
Oh, yeah, I might. Sorry, we haven't posted it yet. All right, Chris, you're on.
That's another Brisingid. 6 arms. But, oh, that's interesting. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Well, generally speaking, these are sea stars that are filter feeders. They hold their arms up into the water, and these spines have a fine covering of
Pilot, can you stand by for a
tissue
second?
with sort of a
Yeah, Roger.
pedicellaria on them. They serves as kind of a death velcro, which to capture small crustaceans as they get swum by. Since it has 6 rays, it's usually something I put into the genus Phragastera, but I don't know, the arms, the plating on the arms looks a little different.
So I'm going to throw this out, Chris. These things all come apart when you collect them, right?
Yes.
But this is on a coral stalk. You rarely see them on a coral stalk.
Come
Is
full
this
wide,
is this worth
You're full
trying to
wide.
grab the branch and you'd actually get an intact one, or is this well enough known where you don't think it's worth it?
Yeah, we could pass on this one.
Okay. All right. Thank you, pilot.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Right. So we have a ship move in.
Yeah, it just started.
Yes.
All right, so we have a negative data point for this.
250
Chris was
was the
actually
heading.
here when we
That's correct,
encountered that sea
250.
star, so it's not.
I'm not sure Brisingids count.
Oh.
Brisingids show up a lot.
Go to lower
Okay.
to my left. Yeah, so down when
Although
we're working
that's the
on
first
cliffs
one we
like
saw
this,
today.
Yeah,
we tend to have a lower delta,
gotcha.
and then as you get close to me,
Yeah,
you pull up,
pull up.
and that allows me to stay farther out
Yep.
and keep the wall away from you.
Okay. I gather that from what the previous co-pilot said, this is going in steps. You get a vertical, then a sort of plateau, and then
I'm not sure. It's sort
that's
of
what he
looking
said
like
they've been
that.
encountering.
Yeah. So my uppers are deployed.
The uppers are deployed, and yeah, so are the lowers.
All right. So if we come up on another cliff, we might want to stow those.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Just let me
FYI,
know.
depending on what the cliff looks
Yeah.
like.
There's some more of that branch sponge, which you're tentatively calling in the family Tritodictiidae. It's on the right-hand side of that rectangular block.
Oh, it's actually quite abundant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Squat lobster on the top
Squat,
left.
squat lobster on the
Black
top
in the
left.
background.
And
You can try to
what
go
else
for
we got?
Love the posing Irish-styling crab at the top.
Yeah, Roland had remarked on it because it had a nice black background there, so it'd be a pretty nice shot.
It's going to be challenging.
It's good. Video's clear.
The video shows a nice reason why just because you don't see big things doesn't mean that these rocks aren't covered by life. Saw lots of tiny little hydroids and other critters living along the surface there, but very, very small.
Got a dead branch in front of us and this funny sort of pinnacle-shaped lava formation. Is some old small vent or something of lava that occurred near the summit, because that's where we are.
What's on the
Something
other
white
side?
on the other side,
Yeah.
some white blob over there. I don't know if we can get around there to look at it, but
What is that?
I don't know yet.
It's a starfish.
Huh.
It's a starfish. It's going to be another one of your hipposteria, I think. Picking on another coral, as usual.
Wow.
Everybody's got to eat.
These look particularly well fed. Looks like hexacorallium's a nutritious source.
All right, come on in, Roland.
Wow. That is spectacular, I must say.
You want lasers on it yet?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. If you zoom in on that row of spines around the edge, we might be able to see some of these sort of like these claw. We might be able to see some of these pedicelaria, which are these jaws that look like Venus flytraps.
You can try to get closer.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's right. We're at a distance. It's okay. Lovely, though. I'm going to get a picture of that and put it on my
cliff there, Don.
desktop.
It's the same. Yes, we are. But
Wow.
that's the one
Space.
we saw while you were down below
Great
this lip
unknown
right here.
frontier.
So it's coming up on about
Uh-oh. Here we go.
about 15 meters.
What's the rest of it?
Shipment's about done. Might be it.
We can't see the rest of it, can we?
Oh,
That's the wall.
Yep, there it
I
is.
just meant that in a general sense, not
This
in a
documents
specific.
man's 3-year campaign in the Pacific to find explore a
Strange-
new
Can you
world.
steal my upper?
Strange new
Copy
life
that.
where no one has gone before.
Lots of corals on the wall still, some of them covered with these yellow zoanthids. Most of these, again, are one type of coral in the family Coralliidae. There's another one of the branch sponges down there to the right, the Tritodictyum.
Okay, uppers are stowed, lights adjusted.
That may be a star or an anemone or sponge
Both
down there.
lights rotated all the way
White
up.
thing is a sponge.
I believe
Is
so,
that
but
what
I'll
it
try
is?
it again.
What if
I'm
we
just
could
looking
do
at them
Yeah.
quick
on the light
snap
bar.
zoom below the lasers if possible?
We go back.
Oh, you're
and
talking about
go-
that sort of white
Yeah.
structure.
Oh, yeah, that one didn't go all the way. Sorry.
So you're talking about this one?
Yeah, if we could just take a snap zoom
Yeah,
on
come
it.
on in, video.
Looks like a sponge. That same kind we saw earlier.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it's a glass sponge. We'll leave it at that. I think it's possibly a euplectellid, but I'm not absolutely sure. So,
Wouldn't Euplectellid have that osculum on the top?
no, not all of them have it.
Ah,
So,
interesting.
But this also could be considered the top. It looks stalked. You know, I'm troubled. I'm vexed. I'm truly vexed.
So why?
You're vexed.
Yeah.
You're not the one who vanish, who starfish appear every time you walk out of a room.
Actually, I'm going to go peripher on that one. I'm a little shaky on the ID on that thing, whether it's even a glass sponge. But we're going to be moving on and working our way along this wall.
Is that a coral in the sort of crack there?
Right
there. Yeah, I guess
yeah,
it is
a
a
little
coral.
corallium. And
Yeah,
we've got
okay.
another one of these white paragorgia just going off the top of the screen.
See
the red thing?
snap here.
And
Good
okay.
angle.
Oh, it's a nice head-on.
Keterocarpus levigatus.
I love how the light reflects blue off of the feelers there, or the antenna.
Okay, video's clear.
Right. Come on out.
Okay.
Okay, I've changed my heading to keep you in view, so we're off
All
track
right,
a little bit.
Edmondson,
Come back to
Seamount.
starboard.
Show us something
Copy. I'm coming up.
new, something totally unique. Come on, you can do it. I've already seen some cool stuff already today. Some more of the weird branching sponges. Beautiful colonies of hemicorallium.
We look at the rock there on the left, see how it's smooth and then it gets bumpy.
Does science want to look at that?
Okay, true that.
I think we're fine.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Thank you. So pilot, if we do, as we get up top here a little bit, there goes one of these scurrying little crabs with the anemone that it's carrying around in its hind claws. We could do a snap zoom on that
Snap
to
in.
confirm it's the Lamoha again.
I love the name of that crab, the Lamoha.
Yeah, Lamoha. I think that's it. Yeah, pretty sure. It's a decorator crab, and it has decorated itself with an anemone. Means the decorated crabs like to grab things and carry them around with them. They can be corals, they can be sponges, they can be anemones, all types of stuff. Thank you very much.
So that crab has kind of a public anemone.
Oh,
Oh, here's another one of your sponges.
yeah.
Oh, there's another sponge up in the upper right
Yeah,
there.
I wonder if we could take a quick look at that white thing with the black circle in the center of it. I think that's different, or is it just a base?
Come on in, Roland.
Yeah, it's dead base.
Ah, that's too bad.
Okay. Yeah. That could be something new. That white coral right to the right of the lasers. Yeah, that looks like a chrysogorgid there. That's our first one, I think. Yeah, it is. So the frilly thing on the left is a chrysogorgid, and the bright white thing is another paragorgid. So, Scott, can you go any further than chrysogorgid on this one that's right in front of us?
I cannot go any farther than that genus ID, but I see that Lance Watling is with us, and he may be able to go a little bit further.
Les is
An
participating.
interesting structure below the shrimp.
But I can say, is there actually, before I say that, is that a mollusk
Or
there? Is that a
spot lobster.
nudibranch, perhaps?
We don't know. Roland had spotted this too. He's not sure what that was.
Sonar, so I can see what direction that is.
Which thing?
Say that again.
There's a bulbous
center up
thing
sonar.
What
that's.
we look at in the
Oh, yeah,
Georgia
copy that.
to identify the
Oh,
species,
there's an
you have to
apocopheron in the
be
back
able
there.
to count the branching pattern, the sequence of branching, how many branches,
Coming
or
around.
how many revolutions it takes for one branch to come directly above the other, and if it's spinning to the right or the left. And so sometimes that's a little bit difficult to see in situ images.
Video's clear.
235 maybe.
235 copy. Okay, that might be a good direction for next move.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let's see what we got from Les here. Les Watling is a octocoral expert at the University of Hawaii Biology Department. He's noting the central axis is pretty disorganized, so he can't do anything. Can't do anything with the chrysogorgid.
We're supposed to be on a nice, gentle slope today.
That's what I heard.
Amazing.
I think it's supposed to the
I
next
feel like
move
I'm
or so
back
should
in the
fly.
canyons in the Atlantic.
Yeah, but Josh, it's kind of smooth though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's awesome. It's great.
Big
I'm just
fish
saying the
top
texture's
left.
smooth at least.
I see.
Oh, there's a fish. There we go. Bruce, stand by. We got a fish coming up.
All right, come on in, Roland. Hold that. He's going to come right in for us. Maybe not.
What
Go
are
ahead in.
you?
He's going to continue down.
You're a little different. Oh, come on, hang in there.
This has got me puzzled. It's a cusk eel of a phytid. You can see the thread-like pelvic fins, but it doesn't look quite familiar. I'm hoping that it will turn so we can see how large the eye is. The eye is pretty good size. It's got a large nostril. This may end up being in one of our mystery photograph files that we'll have to send off to the experts. So there's a genus called Pycnocraspidum that resembles in body shape, but not quite in the color pattern. Chris, you're familiar with
I think he's turning around, starting to turn his nose back up to the right.
I'm not sure what genus that is. It's definitely in the family Ophidiidae. I didn't see a double lateral line, I couldn't tell if there was a flap on the top of the opercle to indicate the other family, the wide-bearing cuspial. So a little bit of a mystery.
You're going to get a good picture now, Bruce. He's come out a little bit.
The heck?
Okay, it's not a bathytid because of the lateral line structure and also looking at the gill morphology. So it's in the family of, well...
I'm not sure I've seen this before,
I'm
Bruce.
reconsidering.
Yeah, this is a toughie.
Yeah,
this isn't something we've seen. Yeah. It's got a really large nostril right by its eye.
It's a little bit similar to something we saw in the geology seamounts, which are kind of between Johnston Atoll and the Hawaiian Islands. It was called Epitriotis freddii, but it doesn't look quite like that either. So, and there's always a possibility on these expeditions that we're seeing something brand new, a species that's never been seen before or never been described. So we have to consider that as well. I'm not going to jump ahead and say that that's what this is, but it's always a possibility, a new discovery.
Lasers out.
Yeah, so Bruce, I don't know. Again, you're going to know these a lot better than I do, but I thought Pycnocraspidum had a little more of a flattened body shape, and this is pretty bulbous, particularly his head. I always thought of it as having a little more of a flattened, deep-bodied thing. I just don't know. I'm not so sure it's like the Pycnocraspidum we've seen elsewhere as well. It just looks very different to me.
Yeah, I mentioned that just because that's a similar genus, but what you've said is exactly right. This is a broader head, broader body, more bulbous head. That was the most similar thing I could think of. And then this Epitriotis is the other genus. I'll have to check that one and see what that looks like, but it just didn't really resemble that either. We did see a round-headed bathytid, a Diplacanthopomus species, on the expedition before this, but that had a flap on the gill cover, so this isn't matching things that we've seen before in all of its characteristics. It's going to be a mystery, and we'll send photographs off to some experts on this group to see if they have better ideas about what it can be.
Thank you, Bruce, and that's Bruce Mundy, and you're calling in from University of Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Actually, I'm back at the Inouye Regional Center for NOAA here at our office with National Marine Fisheries Service. So I'm calling from the NOAA office, and I'll be back next week. You keep saying I was on vacation, and that's true for a few days, but I was at a conference, the American Society of Ichthyologists and Herpetologists, and it was interesting to see a number of presentations on deep-sea fishes that used images from the Okeanos Explorer expeditions. So scientists are using the images that we get on these expeditions for their presentation for educational purposes and talks that they give about their work.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
think Bruce, you got an
So the thing you
coffin
gotta
up
watch
to the.
for on is the tether.
Tether that it doesn't get.
I think this is Norella
Above
again.
me.
Scott, do you have an opinion on
If you
this,
start
or
getting
let's
too
see
close
what
to
the
wall,
Yeah.
let me
let's see
know.
what the
No,
chat
we've
room
stopped
has.
moving. We're not getting
And
any
Ken
closer.
Sulak
Yeah, ship hasn't,
suggested
We are a
psilocybin
little
maybe.
off heading
He was
track, though.
talking
You need to come
you know,
back to
sorry, I
starboard when you
switched
get
back to the
underway.
fish because I just saw Ken's comment.
What'd you say, Nav?
I'm just saying,
anyway,
ship
it's
hasn't
some-
moved in
Video's
15
cool.
Coral,
minutes.
I'm not seeing anything that would cause me not to believe that it's Norella.
Okay, thank you, Scott. And another one of those branch sponges, and now we're seeing everywhere, and are almost getting to the point of being boring. You know, there's so many of them. This has caused me to nearly hit the ceiling of the control room when I saw it the first time a few days ago.
Oh, that's the great thing about it. It's like a big vintage store with all sorts of interesting things. You look around, and they're all hidden amongst the detail.
We're seeing chrysogorgids again on the bottom. Oh, there's a sponge right there we haven't seen. If we
Looks
could
like it's
get up
covering the entire wall.
there. Yeah,
All
it's-
these white splotches.
Yeah, I wonder if we could zoom in
Yeah,
on that
some
to the right of the
anemones.
lasers, pilot.
Okay. Stand by.
Something's going on here
Okay,
at this
come on in, roll.
on the wall here. Whoa. Oh, it's anemones or corallomorpharians, I guess.
Wow.
And the sponge was a little bit more to the upper right.
Copy.
Although that's another sponge.
I would guess they're corallomorpharians, Chris, and this is not unusual. When we see a corallomorph, we see them in these pretty high abundances coating the wall. So they are relatives of sea anemones and corals, and sometimes they're described as naked corals, and that's referring to some of the similarities they have to stony corals, except that you can see these have no skeleton. And one of the ways that we use to identify them as corallomorphs, the fact that they're so transparent, I refer to the term diaphanous, and the combination also of that knobby tip to the tentacle. But that's best guess from me.
Yeah, thank you, Scott, and I would agree with that. And I
Pulling
think
for a slow
let's see,
wide
Les
reveal.
also agrees with corallomorphs, so we're all in agreement. What we're not in agreement about is the sponge. I'm not in agreement with myself on this. We can go ahead, pilot, but I don't know if this is a hexac or a demosponge. We got great imagery, and it's encrusting, suggesting demosponge maybe, but I think there are a few encrusting hexacs, but
Man,
got
there's a lot of these.
There's a
corals.
lot of them all over, right?
Okay, keep pulling out, rolling. There's a coral up here we can reveal.
Look at that. Beautiful big corral. Oh, sea star in
There's
the
a sea star
background.
in the background.
And a fish over to the left, too.
Slightly closer. We do 15 meters at 235.
Fish next to the white.
But if we
top
could
left.
take a quick peek
Looks
at the
like that'll
fish
work,
since
yeah.
it's moving
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, 235.
Oh, look at
maybe
this
even
place.
230.
Beautiful.
maybe.
30. That works.
Oh, look at these chrysogorgids coming up now.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Is that a cusk eel?
I think so.
Trying to come back down.
Bruce, you'll see it any second.
Yeah, that looks like a cusk eel swimming upside down, actually, orienting toward the top of that crevice, like a lot of the shallow water reef fishes do that shelter under the under crevices and in caves. I couldn't tell it was another cusk eel.
He's coming
I
out.
couldn't tell what genus again, and that.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead
Bruce, he's coming out. You got another shot at him.
Well, I'm guessing that this is in the genus Bassogygus, but looks a little different be nice if you give us a good lateral view. But we've seen Basogeigus or Basogygus. The head looks a little small, so we're seeing some different things. Again, these cusk eels have a characteristic of the pelvic fins. The fins on the belly or up under the throat are reduced to filaments, and I could see that a moment ago. It had peculiar markings on the back, a light mark, and all that looked like they may have been injured or survived an attack by something. We usually don't see that sort of color pattern in these deep water cusk eels. So I think it's going to be another mystery that will have to be solved later.
Meanwhile, starfish are happening.
You showed remarkable restraint there, Chris. I compliment you on that.
Oh, you don't even know. If this might turn out to be the starfish of my dreams.
Uh-oh, you just jinxed it. Okay, we'll see. Law of negativity here. Law of negativity, you got to remember it. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Wow.
Got his stomach exposed on the
Eating
right.
the Chrysogorgia, his stomach's everted, right?
Yeah. Wow,
Excellent.
those stomachs are enormous. Wow. What?
So what do we got?
Yeah, if we can collect this, that would be, tremendous.
So what I'm going to suggest is if you're able to grab the coral and the sea star, I think you're going to make two different groups of researchers very happy.
Is that a Chrysogorgid?
It's on a Chrysogorgid.
Wow, that's even more spooky.
I don't know how problematic that would be to get this.
Yeah, bring the lower arms up.
Well, it's just kind of interesting because I was working with a person studying Chrysogorgiids a couple of weeks ago. So
he's attached to the rock too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, see the hands up there?
If you were to grab the sea star and then grab the
Chrysogorgia colonies in a row there, almost a perfect linear arrangement.
Yeah.
Let's look at the basis.
If you could get the sea star and then snip the coral right after it, it's really informative for Chris to get what it's eating. No, it is. I'm serious.
No. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Because
the lower swing arms are stowed, the uppers are also
stowed.
So
what type of sea star in general are we looking at?
So this is a goniasterid. This is similar to the genus Caliaster, but also similar to
Nav, do we have anything
the
in
genus
Biobox's previous
so that might
co-pilot
even suggest that the two are more closely related than I previously thought.
Okay, copy
but
that.
Usually when you have that much spination, it's reminiscent of something like Circeaster or Hipposteria. Those are both groups of sea stars which feed on coral. So I'll need to look
both
at
boxes.
I am right now.
Yeah, thank you. This is going to be a tough one. Alright, let's see if we can get
As we
set up
move
here.
back in here, you'll notice that so I said there are 5 Chrysogorgia colonies in a row.
Biobox is ready to
Three
go.
that are on the
You're
left
spun
are
up
polyps
with hydraulics.
extended,
They're all
they
the
look
way.
quite fuzzy.
Okay.
But where that sea star is, the polyps
You're
have
sneaking
kind
in
of
on the
retracted
left.
their tentacles or curled up as much as they can, presumably because they're being fed upon.
Tilt up HD2.
Okay, go ahead.
I got it, yeah.
There's that fish again.
Oh, there he is.
It's got whiskers on the bottom.
He does have a small head, Bruce, that fish.
Yeah, so I'll take back my suggestion that it was a Basogygus because the head's smaller than what they look like. I'm out of practice. It shows what happens when you go away for a little bit. And so I don't know what genus that's in, but it's supposed to be in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
All right. Come up a little bit. And Do you want me to take
can see those
the
shaped like
Zeus,
pelvic
or should
fins.
you ready to
This was
switch over to
interesting
the
because
main
it's
screen
oriented
here
in
for
different
the
directions.
mini
Now
Zeus?
it's swimming
We're
kind of
gonna
sideways.
have to try the mini Zeus, and we're gonna have to try the utility cam.
Okay.
Yeah, so Briss, it looks vaguely
I just-
reminiscent, but I
I
can't
just
find
don't
it
want to
in the
hit
gallery.
the arm on this wall here
Okay.
when I deploy it.
Okay.
That's my concern.
It's where we had something with kind of a
you got it.
compressed
Yep, I
head,
got
sort
it.
of eel-like, ophidiid-like, that we came across in 2015. I'm not seeing it right
Zoom in a
now.
little bit on main HD. All right, so I'll try to get the star first and then get the coral it's on. Or try to do both. He might not let go of the coral, I'm guessing. So,
So I'll switch topics.
come
The
wide.
shrimp that you're looking at is a heterocarpus.
Yeah, you may
Amy
have
just
to
commented
come
that it's a
off
large
the
shrimp,
wall
and
and
they
drop
are.
it in.
It's a
Thank
commercially important shrimp.
no, maybe not.
There's a small
see.
fishery
Okay.
for these
All right.
deep water shrimp in the Hawaiian islands
Okay, I'm going to follow
for
you
two
out there
species
a
of
little
heterocarpus. But like a lot of deep sea animals, they grow slowly, replace themselves slowly, so
yeah,
the
just
fishery
keep an
wasn't
eye on my
sustainable
arm
in the
and make sure I'm
long
not gonna
run.
hit the wall.
Yep.
It still goes on, but it's limited. And
I gotta kind
it'll
of
go
reach
for a
in here.
year
Yeah.
and then stop for a few years and then go for another year. So it's a very sporadic fishery, but those shrimp are large enough to be edible and commercially harvested.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have to.
We're holding our breath here. This is a challenging
Can
collection.
you zoom in on mini Zeus, please?
Those are fairly sturdy starfish too, so if that helps.
Okay, moving over a little bit.
That does help
Yeah.
for them to know that.
Shrimp
So that
photobombing
the
me.
shrimp normally doesn't swim so much, so it's got a swimming escape response. If you can call that escaping. He sounds like he's going to land on the manipulator arm. Or I mean, he
Maybe
seems
we'll
like
get a triple.
he's on the arm, isn't he? He was.
I was swimming around around the edge of it, sort of like doing that Monty Python fish dance around it. Oh, good.
Don't walk behind me right
Shrimp
now,
bombed.
please.
Oops. Sorry,
Come out on
gonna
mini
land.
Zeus. Come out on mini
He's
Zeus.
still there.
That shrimp is my mortal enemy.
Tilt down
now.
on Zeus.
Yeah, he's stuck. He's
Tilt down on Zeus.
It's just perfect until that shrimp ended. It's pretty likely that the Chrysogorgia colonies are in that area are all the same. Do you think?
I saw two different forms. I saw
gotta
sort of
reposition
a
the vehicle.
bushy
Okay.
form, and I saw a planar form. I think they're different.
No, I'm just wondering if it might be easier to. I don't know if they're going to go after the other one or if it's easier just to stick with something else up there.
Yeah.
I got to reposition to get this.
Tipping up on Zeus, or are you going to take it?
I
Go
gotta
ahead.
take it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I forget which one he was on. Was it one of those two smaller ones that he
It
just
was
dropped?
that one.
That one there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the piece that it was
Let's see.
devouring just flew off into the corner there.
Yeah, so Les is making the argument this is a case where grabbing the substrate with your 2 feet may not be a good idea
did the
because
ship
it
finish
gave the
that
pilot
15
another
meter
chance at him.
I stopped the ship.
Oh, you
for
did?
the-
Okay, copy that.
so
Just
ship
continue to
right now.
fall. Well, there's
want
the
it moving
kind of a
forward.
ledge
Yeah,
right
roger that.
there.
Okay.
Would
I
have
didn't-
been able
I
to
didn't hear
potentially
that.
get
Missed
him
it.
anyway. Where'd that sponge come from? That's a vase sponge, Regadrella. I think it's Regadrella. It's a type of
can you
vase-shaped
tilt-
glass
can you
sponge as
rotate
he's
the mini
maneuvering
Zeus over
around to try
Copy.
to have another go at
To
the
the
sea
starboard.
star.
Yep. To starboard. Do you want to watch the arm?
I want to look down there
Down there
because I
at the-
can't.
okay.
I have this rock right here,
Gotcha.
so I can't see it with the Zeus. I'm trying to get low enough to be able to grab it.
Yeah, as I'm seeing a message that I put in the event log quite a while ago that's just sitting there still, so we haven't got it. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
and I'm going to need you to use the utility cam.
We aren't able to see more recent
utility cam.
Messages to you folks,
yes.
Nor get our responses in the chat room because our Wi-Fi is temporarily down, but they're going to get it.
You want to
up
see that on the big
just
screen?
A few moments.
No, just move it.
Just
okay,
move it.
Copy that.
Oh wow! No wonder why he was having trouble. I didn't realize this is behind us.
You can see it in the quad split on stream 3. The tube nip cams as well as the primary and secondary ROV cams.
Go ahead. Okay, let me come around a few degrees there. Okay.
Drifting.
Okay. So for those of you who are not monitoring or not on our chat room here that are watching this broadcast, we are at 1,145 meters, which is about 3,500, 600, 700 feet below the surface of the sea in the Johnston Atoll unit of the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. This is on a seamount called Edmondson Seamount. It's southwest of Johnston Atoll itself, and Johnston Atoll is about 750 nautical miles from Honolulu. It gives you an idea of where we are. This is the ship Okeanos Explorer, and our cruise is called Laulima Okamoana, which basically translates to partnerships in the sea, and it's because this type of operation and exploration is a huge partnership between so many different entities: the Smithsonian, University of Hawaii, Office of Ocean Exploration and Research, other NOAA agencies, Global Foundation for Ocean Explorations, University of Hawaii at Hilo, all of the folks that are on the event log from University of Louisiana at Lafayette, Shirshov Institute in Moscow, the Chiba Institute in Japan. It's a big effort with a lot of people participating and helping out. So that's why we're calling it a partnership.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, we can see that now. Thank you.
Just can't get it to stay.
Yeah, no good toe hold.
It's frustrating.
Just reach over and tumble that big rock downhill. Get it out of your way.
Hey, Josh.
Yep.
I'm thinking this is looking a little precarious, and we will see another one, I'm sure. So, and I know this puts us into a kind of a difficult position, so we can move on. I appreciate all the effort you went to grabbing it. I blame the shrimp, frankly.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Chris.
Oh, no. That's quite all right. You tried your best. Again, I just think my old rivals, the crustaceans, are just out to get me. So
Yeah, you can pull up.
we have fine video evidence of that
Too low
shrimp
right
trouncing your arm attempt earlier on.
You got your arm stowed where you want it then?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, okay. Copy that.
We can ramp down.
So this is some serious terrain, and this is my fault. I actually thought we were going to have a reasonably gentle transit up a ridge along the face of this escarpment. At least that's what we could see from the multi-beam. Multi-beam, though, at these kind of depths is probably going to give you something like 20-meter resolution, and some of this type of topography is just not going to show up on multi-beam bathymetry. So this caught me by surprise. I mean, it's spectacular, so it's beautiful, but it's also creating a few headaches for the pilots at the same time.
All right, pilots. So next sonar target in Sirius is 25 meters out. Looks to be around 240. The D2 is picking something up 30 meters out straight.
White coral.
270.
Another sea star.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to collect, but let's image it too.
Come on in.
No more. They got to be out of the crevices, Chris.
Okay, yeah. So this is a benthopectinid. Looks like chiraster. These are interesting. We don't know a lot about them. But yeah, good to know that it's there. We can move on. Thank you.
Okay, come on out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this is a sea star that lives. These are a classic deep sea group, and they're found frequently.
But you got fish bombed.
Yeah, and we got fish bombed. Great. So this is in the genus chiraster, the sea star, anyway, and they're identified by the very sharp spines that are present around the edge. We really don't know a lot about them, unfortunately. We don't know what they eat, and they've been around for quite a long time, since the Jurassic. But there's...
We'll call that fish good.
But they get quite deep, sort of a classic deep-sea group when you study deep-sea sea stars. This is one of them. So...
All right, Bruce, you're on.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Go for it, Bruce.
More of those ribbons on the
So that was another cusk eel in the genus Basoguygus, I think. With a better look at it, I'm getting more confident about that identification. It looked like it had a sort of a suture on the top of the gill cover, and the head shape was right. So we see these fairly often at these sort of intermediate depths of 1,000 meters or so. There are two species in the genus. Couldn't tell which one that was, but I think it's probably a juvenile rather than an adult.
30 centimeters.
Chris Kelly, I don't know if you have thoughts if you think it was a Basoguygus or not, but that's my guess. It's a cusk eel or a brachula in the family Ophidiidae.
Yeah, Bruce, I was on the same page with you, Bruce, and I logged it in as that. And now we've got some Venus flytrap anemones here with stoloniferans, maybe? That's what it looks like. The stringy yellow
Are those not more zoanthids?
They kind of look like it, but look at the base.
Oh, weird. Huh.
Oh, Scott, Les, we're going to need some help here. What are we looking at? No, it's not an octocoral, is it? So it can't be a stoloniferen.
This is zoanthid.
Yeah.
Really good example of the fact that zoanthids overgrow other things. So here you can see it growing like a mat across the rock, and it's growing right up and over some kind of coral. I'm not entirely certain what it's overgrown, but that's a good example that they don't typically form their own skeleton. Instead, they're overgrowing something that already has a skeleton, except for a couple of cases, the gold coral being a good example.
You want to redeploy
thank you,
any of
Scott.
the light bars? Or leave them
These anemones are vexing me.
Okay.
I'm going to use that word because I love it in the movie Gladiator. I don't know if you Russell Crowe. Not Russell Crowe didn't say it. Oh, come on, I know his name.
I think that over this ledge, there's going to be a lot more of this zoanthid growing on the rock I saw as we were approaching.
Okay, thanks, Scott. This actually looks like a Tenoskyphia, but a Tenoskyphia is usually on animals and corals.
Wow,
that's
those
what's really
have really just overgrown that rock.
Yeah, this is a funny anemone, so I'm going to put a Tenoskyphia question mark.
So for people who are tuning in, we're looking at different types of cnidarians. These are animals with stinging cells, and although they resemble plants, they're actually different types of predatory animals. The yellow things you're seeing are what's called zoanthids. They're animals that look like sea anemones. They, in this case,
to the right, barnacles or
a
coral?
very interesting, apparently prolific mat extending over the rocky bottoms. Looks like we're coming up on a sea cucumber. I think the kind we've already seen a couple of times today. Synallactid. Yeah, I think that's. Oh wait.
It's got longer too. He's different. With a little the round thingies, whatever you call them.
Oh, someone shared the name podal somethings. I think they're modified tube feet is what they are. But yeah, so sea cucumbers, as a general explanation, like to feed on the organic materials that are on the sea bottom. Usually that's mixed in with the sediment. And with other sea cucumbers, the body wall is translucent, so you can see right through it. And what you're seeing in the gut are the sediment that the animal's been eating. And eventually that works its way through it, and sort of like the way you see with castings at the end of an earthworm, this does the same thing. And leaves the sediment free for other animals to burrow through and so forth. There's a nice sponge also, Chris.
You want to look inside
the sponge? One of these Regadrella or something. I'm infatuated with figuring out what that anemone or that sea cucumber was.
Lasers are back on.
Well, it's in the gallery, and I think it's a late Magonid, but I'm trying to check on that right now. At least that's what Dave Pawson thought
starfish
of.
On the
this kind of one with those weird
corals
sort of circles on it.
At the top.
No, I'm completely wrong. How about Synallactid?
Sure.
That's what he thought it might be.
So it's not an up-to-date Magonid? Wow, that is just like a picture-perfect Okeanos calendar picture right there. There's a dead. That's a large dead sponge on the bottom there too, isn't it?
Yeah.
We lose the skids.
So we've got a. Wonder if we could get a look at the white coral that's sticking up on that the left side knob. I think we've seen it before. I think it's a primnoid.
Come on in, bro.
Yeah, okay, that's probably good. It's another Narella.
Those corallimorpharians are everywhere.
Yeah, and there's a Hormathiid anemone. That's the one that's to the right, with the yellow stalk and the orange tentacles.
So this is kind of a cnidarian paradise. Cnidarians are a major phylum of animals, and they're characterized by having stinging cells, and there's quite a big diversity of them. These are sea anemones, for example, this yellow stalked thing. There's another group, the corallomorpharians, which look like sea anemones but are distinctive in having these sort of white balls on each tip of the tentacles. And then you get octocorals, which are the group to which a lot of these branched forms belong, and so on. There's quite a diversity of them. Many of the branching forms, the pink ones as well as the sort of ethereal ones, are octocorals. They have 8 arms around a feeding mouth, and they're usually colonial. And these are all probably taking advantage of the water current here, being able to pick food out of the water.
Clear.
All right, so Scott and the rest of you, I don't know how you feel about this, but I am hereby declaring this spot as a high-density community. I don't know if there's objections out there, but I think it qualifies.
Canyon there.
And this could be what we've been looking for on this cruise. We had maybe one back in 2015 when Scott was aboard the Okeanos, with a very different community of just pure chrysogorgids mostly. But we've been kind of looking for something like this that was even more spectacular. Beautiful mix of sponges and corals. So I think this qualifies. We've got quite a lot of animals here.
Is there a definition for high density community, Chris? I mean, is it a numerical one, or is it just one you just arbitrarily? I'm serious. I mean, if there's a formal call,
there isn't.
I'm curious if there's actually a definition. Okay.
Everybody has a little different.
Just about moving, but
I think some cases people would call this a coral garden. I call them high density communities. There's some people think that some people think that 1 per square meter would constitute something like that.
Man, the zoanthids covering that farther rock looks spectacular.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. This vase sponge in the foreground here is in the genus Regadrella. It's a glass sponge.
Can we recenter ROV HD2?
So Les Watling agrees. I think that's what he's agreeing with, calling it a high-density community. Looks like we have a little, I think that's a Ketignath, an arrowworm, in the water column. These look innocuous. Oh, wait, is it a fish or an arrowworm?
No, that's an arrowworm, Chris. You've got it.
Yeah.
No myomeres, no muscle segments, kind of distinctive morphology with the head pointing down toward the left that has bristle-like teeth. And the little fin-like structures on the back make it deceptively look like a fish. But it's an arrowworm.
Okay.
That's a group of animals, an entire family that's only found in the ocean. No examples in fresh water or obviously on land.
Video switching out.
I missed Scott's comment. I was speaking with Dan Rogers.
It was just Bruce Mundy clarifying that what we were seeing was, in fact, a Ketignath or arrowworm and not a fish.
Wow, look at this.
Wow.
This is an amazing assortment here. Corallomorphs, sponges, corallids, primnoids, zoanthids.
It's too bad there isn't like one loose rock with all 4 of them, 5 of them on one.
It's too bad there's no loose rock, period, because we need a second rock.
You know what's interesting to me, though, is just as we started, I've noticed everything in this area has been a little larger than usual, at least compared to what I associate with normal-sized animals. Up to you were pointing something up to the left.
I thought I saw a big sea star off to the upper left, but I'm not sure.
I thought that was a feather star.
Well, could be. But yeah, just swing a little bit to the upper left and up. Yeah, what is this right here?
Sea anemone.
Sea anemone? Oh, yeah, okay.